Welcome back to Epic Higher Ed. In this video, I want to show you 5 things that I do when making videos to save time so that you can make better quality videos in less time and have more time available to you for whatever you need it, be it binging Netflix, The Great British Bake Off is back, or spending time with your family and maybe even taking a nap. Video has become such a huge component of online learning for good reason. It's a really fantastic way to share ideas and content and material. It's a way that we can let our personalities as instructors show and even see our students' personalities when they create videos. However, it seems like it's making our workload double. We have to create this wonderful presentation. We then have to film it. And because it's video, it lasts forever and you need to get everything right. And so you redo it a bunch of times and then you edit it down and then you have to render the video and then upload it. And it takes forever to do all that. And then you still have to run your class sessions. In the before times, you just made your great presentation and walked in, talked about what you need to talk about, do great learning-based activities and discussions and interactions, and you were done. And that still took time, right? There's a reason why we think teachers are overworked and underpaid, and you could probably resonate with that. What I keep hearing from instructors is that they are working harder than ever. About 3 years ago, I set out to flip my biomechanics course and self-publish it as a video-based textbook alternative that instructors can assign their students to adopt this video course rather than a textbook. To do this, I filmed 53 lecture videos in one semester, one 15-week semester. That's an average of 3.5 videos per week. You can see examples of these videos at biomechanics101.com or the older versions of them at another YouTube channel that I have, and I'll link it in a card up above, but it's another YouTube channel that I have specifically devoted to biomechanics. Not only did I create those 53 lecture videos that first time, but I've recreated them multiple times since. I think I'm on the 3rd or 4th version, and I've expanded it. The videos are up around 70 or 80 for that course. So how was I able to do this? How was I able to maintain this pace in a sustainable way, creating high quality professional videos? Well, that is exactly what I want to share with you in this video. The first 2 tips I'm going to give you are in the realm of preparing to film for videos. And this can be a big part of creating your content, and it's a time that we can spend a lot of time on, so I want to focus here first. The first tip I have for you is to embrace the flipped learning style. Now, what is the flipped learning style? The flipped learning style is this idea that instead of giving students content when you see them and work with them in face-to-face modalities, be that in the classroom or on Zoom, you actually have them, instead of doing homework, you have them watch content or digest content or read content, and then you come together in class to go through in-depth examples, applications, discussions, even work through what would have been homework assignments. If you want to know more about a flipped classroom and the ideas behind it and have a really great guide on creating your own flipped classroom and how to implement, I recommend this book called Flipped Learning by Robert Talbert, and it is an amazing resource. I'll have it linked in the description down below for you if you want to check it out. Now, why do I think we should embrace the flipped model? The idea here is that you create these videos outside of class and then come together. And the thing is, you still want the time together to be relevant, and you don't want to spend way too much time creating videos. So what you do is you ruthlessly cut those presentations down. You cut out almost every example. You cut out all discussion. You give them the facts, the meat, the 20% of your course content that gives them 80% of understanding. That's the Pareto principle. So the very first thing, and the reason why we should embrace the flipped environment, is the idea is you're giving them the foundational material outside of class. So when they come to you everything that you do in class is more meaningful. That is where you do your examples. That is where you do your discussion. So if you normally have a piece of your PowerPoint or your presentation where you would launch into an in-depth example, cut it out and save it for when you meet with them. Now, how ruthless am I talking here? You can see that for each of my modules here in Biomechanics, this is module 2, I have about 13 videos that we would, or 13 presentations that we would go through over 4 or 5 weeks. Now, really short, cut down. I really work hard to make sure none of these videos are more than 10 minutes. I like to call them lecturettes. And that happens by being ruthless with the content I give them. So again, the first tip, embrace the flip model and ruthlessly cut your PowerPoints and your presentations and your videos down to under 10 minutes. Cut out all examples, all discussions, all practice problems, and do those together. They don't have to leave your curriculum. Do it when you meet with each other. The second tip I'm going to give you also relates to prep, and this is using PowerPoint's design feature to take your presentations up a notch really quickly. I've had students comment on how great my PowerPoints are, how wonderful they are to look at, and I want to show you exactly how I do that because you can do it fast and quick. So here I am in PowerPoint. I'm ready to create a new presentation. One of the things you can do here is select one of these pre-designed ones, but I actually find that these pre-designed ones down here are kind of boring and ugly and not that interesting. So how do we make it more interesting? Blank presentation. Whew. All right. Now I have design ideas popping up right away. So over here we have these amazing designs, and I like to just scroll through and maybe find one that looks interesting to what I want to do. And so I can just kind of keep looking. Maybe I'm going to give a geography presentation. I'm going to click this one, and it's nice and artsy. It's beautiful. And we can say Geography 101 with Dustin Backey. Now, the background here and the contrast isn't great, so I might edit that, but overall it's a good looking presentation. And what you might have just noticed on screen is that it came up with other alternatives. So I realize here contrast is not great. The accessibility of this PowerPoint has just gone down because of that. But what about this one? Great, still looks wonderful. Or right here, this shades the background a bit and improves the contrast, making it easier to see. And so it gives us a number of different examples. So the first thing, it gives me a theme, and now I go for a new slide, and it gives me options over here. And so I can choose one of these, or what I like to do is I might give my first bulleted list, and I say topic 1. All right, so I'm done with this, and I edit out. And what happens over here is that PowerPoint gives me great options to, again, work with on this. And so you can just scroll through here, and personally, I was a big fan of this one, so I'm just going to go with that. So on this one, maybe I want a picture here. Meaningful picture info, blah, blah, blah. And let's go ahead and grab a picture. Let's choose a odd selfie here for this from Thumbnails. Now, look what it did. As soon as I dragged that picture in, it gave me options for how to do this. So I can do this here, talk about the picture. It has a little bit of an overlay, doesn't take things away. You can kind of put it off to the side here. So what I do is I put my content in, and then I click over here to the design ideas and just choose something that looks good. This is a fast and easy way to make high quality PowerPoint presentations. And because what these design ideas do is it actually helps you increase the accessibility of your PowerPoint because it uses only decorative things. Whereas oftentimes if you put in your own shapes and things, it's going to recognize them as images and give issues. Now, if you insert your own image, you do need to put alternate text for that, but it still helps make an accessible PowerPoint that looks great quickly. Okay, for the third tip, let's move into actual filming process for this one. And my tip here is get yourself off camera. Now, what do I mean by get yourself off screen or off camera? It's that you do not need to be in your video the whole time. For some reason, we think that we have to be in there, and you don't. So how does this help? Well, the thing is, if you're on screen, that is one more thing that you're going to worry about and have to edit and add to the video and set up, and how do you make sure your screen's on there and you. It's one less thing to think about. If you just are screen recording a PowerPoint and talking over it, you don't have to get dressed, you don't have to get cleaned up, you don't have to put makeup on, you don't have to find a hat when your hair doesn't look good, you don't have to set up your lights and everything. All you have to do is set up your mic and record. You can do it in your underwear and your students would never know. So it takes a big part out of the prep and the planning. And for most content, you don't need to be on it. You can convey enough emotion with your voice and when you see them in your face-to-face format. When you are on Zoom, they get to see you. So don't feel like you have to be on camera for these pre-recorded videos. On screen, you could see one of mine that I do in that I always start my videos with 20 to 30 seconds of some sort of opening introduction where I am on camera. And I like to give some sort of relevancy or make some jokes or make it lighthearted. And then I just move right into the PowerPoint. And once I'm into the PowerPoint and into the content, I am no longer on camera. So what you can do is you can, if you know you have to make 3 videos this week, before your first Zoom session of the week, spend 5 minutes, record your 3 intros, and save them for later. You're already all done up and ready to go on camera for your Zoom session. So just quickly record your 3 intros. That way when you record the meat of the PowerPoints and the lecturettes later, you can just add those intros on. And you don't have to get ready again. So the third tip, get off camera. It will save you time. It will make things more fluid and less of a production in making these videos. My fourth tip for you is related to something you can do in filming to make editing easier. So this is a filming flub trick. My honest answer here is that this tip is totally optional. In fact, I think editing is totally optional. If you are the type of instructor who you plan to never use your recorded lectures ever again, or you don't really care how perfect they are, don't even worry about this tip. Don't worry about editing. And especially if you're just giving it like a 5-minute shot, we're all human. I think your students will appreciate that you flub up here and there. And if you flub up really bad and you're only doing a 5-minute lecture, just restart it. But what you can do, you don't need to worry about all the ums and ahs and me and my's, and I say so way too much, and now that I've said it, you all are probably going to see it, but you don't need to worry about all of that. However, if you do want to do some editing, what I suggest you do is take it one slide at a time, and what you're going to do is, let's say I'm talking here about slide number 1, and I totally flub up and I'm messing it up, and I said, oh shoot, blah, blah, blah. Or my kid comes running in and now my discussion for slide 1 is completely messed up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to count to 10 silently. And then I start again, and here I am talking about number 1, and now this time my dog starts barking and the trash goes by, and I messed up slide 1 again. Okay. I really want this to be good. I want to use it in future semesters, so here we go again. Okay, slide 1 goes perfectly this time. Now this is great. What I'm going to do is I am going to clap. And what that clap is going to do is it's going to make a sharp spike when you go to edit your video on the sound timeline. And this tells you that the piece of content right before that clap spike is good and is the one you want to use. So what you do is you start editing at the back of your video because you know the last piece is perfect. You know slide 10 is perfect right there. Cut out the clap. And then what you're going to do is cut out everything else from the beginning of that piece up until the next clap. And then you work backwards. Every time you see a clap, you know that the piece right before it is your perfect one. So you go to the front of that and cut everything else up until the previous clap. And you work your way from the back to the front of your editing timeline. This saves tons of time editing. So if you want to have good presentation, I would spend your time in front of the camera getting it right and then make editing easier by using the clap trick. So I want to give you a bit of a bonus tip here in looking at the software that I use for editing and making videos. So I use what is called Camtasia, and it's a screen recording software, but it actually also will record camera, microphone, computer sound all at once. So it can record 4 different channels at the same time, which is really nice. So if I'm trying to do something on my screen as I'm talking through it with my camera, this allows me to do it. And not only that, but what it does is it allows me to create these wonderful cursor effects that you have seen in this video and some of my other ones, including highlighting where it is and ripples when it clicks. It also gives me nice little animations of things going in and out, and gives me transitions and behaviors. And it's easy to add the media to the library and actually really intuitive to use. So a little bit of breaking the fourth wall here, and you actually get to see the editing process as I make this video. But I love Camtasia, and I think that it is a great option for something that is simple and straightforward, yet really powerful for video editing. Okay, so my fifth and final tip for you here in this video is a way that you can quickly and easily take all of your lectures up a level with a little bit of upfront work, but not a lot. And that tip is to use pre-designed templates on all of your videos. Now, to show you what I mean, I want to show you what I do. And what I'm going to show you is that I went into my video editor, Camtasia, and I started a new project. And when I go into it, I set up certain music files, certain intro files, and things like that, and then save it as a template project. And this way, all I have to do is open up the template project, and then everything I need to use is in there ready to go. I don't have to redesign intros or re-add music or anything like that because it's ready to go. So on screen, what you see is that here in my Biomechanics introduction folder with lecturettes, there's this Biomechanics template, and this is an undergraduate Biomechanics template. And if I click it to open it up, it's going to load up, and what you'll notice here on screen is that I already have this nice little intro that you saw earlier that plays, and then I have all my assets that I like to use, including music. I like to reference page numbers in textbooks that we like to use, and I credit the music that I use. So these are all ready to go, and then what I would just do from here is click record, and then do my intro or my PowerPoint, whatever you're going to do. To take your videos up a notch, just create a template inside your video editor as a new project and save it as that template. Open it up. Every time you start a new project, record right to it, and a lot of those cool assets that take your video up just a little bit of a notch will already be preloaded. I have one more quick bonus tip here for you at the very end. I know that one of the things that can take the longest about videos is actually uploading them to the internet. And one of the cool things that Camtasia does is if you go here to share on your screen and click it, come down, you will see that it will automatically save and export your file wherever you choose to use it. So most likely you're either using YouTube or Google Drive, and you can upload it straight to YouTube through Camtasia, which saves a good amount of time, skipping a lot of the render time. I want to thank you for watching this. I know this was a long video, but hopefully you got a lot out of it. Hopefully those 5 tips will really make creating videos a more sustainable process for you. I would love to know what you think of this. If you like it, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be doing more of these 5 ways to improve type videos over the next couple of weeks, and I have some really exciting resources and workshops and projects coming out for you all as compassionate instructors in higher education who are striving to create innovative and inclusive classrooms. I can't wait to see you in the next video. If you haven't gone over to epichighered.com and hopped on the mailing list or gotten one of my free resources, including a free workshop or module map or student feedback survey, I have all of those. Just head over to epichighered.com. You can find that link in the description below. We'll see you in the next video.